Hi everyone, Teddy Baldassarre with TeddyBaldassarre.com, and in this video, we're going to be looking at the new Baume Mercier Riviera 39mm. So in this video and on this channel, we cover watches available for purchase on our website, TeddyBaldassarre.com, as a full authorized dealer. So in this video, deep dive on this timepiece, final points of consideration at the end, but also throughout the video, if you have further questions or you want to buy this watch, a link will be in the description down below to the product page. Guys, let's jump into the video and take a closer look at this watch. Being the sixth oldest Swiss watchmaker currently in operation dating back to 1830, Baume Mercier is often underappreciated in the world of watchmaking. Serving as a gateway to luxury within the Richemont group, B&M tends to provide some of the best finishing and movement tech at their price point. Back in 2018, Baume Mercier released their Baumatic movement, a caliber that was over 5 years in the making, offering impressive specs including a 5-day power reserve and a COSC certification in a proprietary package. While unveiled within the more refined and dress-oriented Clifton family, Baume Mercier was also quick to bring out the Baumatic caliber to the Riviera, an integrated sports watch that dates back to 1973, just 1 year after the release of the AP Royal Oak and a few years before that of the Patek Philippe Nautilus, making it one of the original release models of this stainless steel sports craze that was happening around this time. Now with it being 50 years later, Baume Mercier released recently at Watches and Wonders a range of 39mm Riviera models, splitting the difference of the former 42mm size variant and 36mm. And today we're going to be looking at this new collection. With a 39mm diameter, a 10.3mm thickness, and a lug-to-lug of 48.1mm, the Riviera 39 manages to hit a vacant sweet spot between the former variants of that Riviera collection, offering a versatile size that is going to probably be pleasing for the vast majority out there. With this being a true integrated design, the strap and bracelet receive extra scrutiny as third-party options simply won't be an option here. But the good news is this is a very well done bracelet. Looking at the bracelet, which is affixed to the central case at the abbreviated lugs that curve down towards the wearer's wrist, we have a 3-link design featuring mostly brush surfaces with smaller hits of polishing between the links, tapering around 22mm where it leaves the case to around 18mm where the bracelet terminates, with a push-button butterfly clasp that is constructed from solid components but lacks micro-adjustment capabilities, leaving the quest for a perfect fit down to the inclusion of some half links. As is often the case with B&M, the finishing on the bracelet is well executed for the price range and complements the refined sporty vibe being presented by the watch as a whole. Transitioning to the blue dial variant, the rubber strap is accented with color-matched genuine alligator leather and blue stitching and terminates again at a butterfly-style clasp endorsed with the B&M logo. As an important note, the rubber strap is cut to fit, meaning you're going to want to really be certain when it comes to measuring out that perfect size. Luckily, the clasp does offer a bit of adjustment in terms of how much rubber you do decide to retain, something you won't find on most cut-to-fit options. A distinct staple of the historic Riviera collection is its 12-side case architecture at that central point, here finished with primarily brushed surfaces with a few polished elements, including the transitions from the top and the bottom surfaces leading toward the vertical brush case sides. Set into the radial brushed stainless steel bezel are 4 hex head screws that securely hold the 3-piece case designed together like a sandwich, helping to achieve its solid 100 meters of water resistance. At the 3 o'clock, we have a proportionally large 7mm octagonal push-pull crown, decorated with a polished and signed top and a groove around its circumference that adds visual interest and additional grip. Looking within the flat sapphire crystal, we do have view of the sapphire dial with a subtle wave pattern and a translucent effect that allows for a smoky and partial view of the caliber within. Polished and applied lume-filled indices mark the hours with prominent Roman numerals at 12 and 6, with the 6 being somewhat strangely inverted. Elsewhere, the Riviera leans into rectangular indices other than the 3 o'clock position, which provides a simply cut aperture lending a view of the color-matching date disc lying just below. The Riviera does feature a very subtle black minute track that is going to be between those hour markers, though it is visually pretty unnoticeable and not going to be as apparent as, of course, many other dials on the market. At its center, a pair of stylized hands receive a central application of superluminova, except for the small skeletonized section near its base. Printed dial text is subtle, with the Baume Mercier name set above Geneve at 12, while the Riviera name proudly rests at the 6 o'clock position, leaving a more open view of the movement housed within. Now, continuing to the back of the watch, we have a radial brush bezel surrounding a large exhibition sapphire crystal, providing view of this model's single strongest value proposition, the proprietary Baumatic movement. The manufacturer Baumatic caliber, the BM13-1975, was developed through Val Fleurier, basically Richemont's innovation hub for movement tech, and creates one of the most compelling movements for the price range. But perhaps the two biggest reasons why this movement is going to be class leading is the power reserve of 120 hours. This is while operating at a 4 hertz beat rate of 28,800 vibrations per hour. There are other brands that are going to come close to this, but typically are going to have to drop the beat frequency to do it. Also, in addition to that, you're getting that COSC certification. So these movements are individually being sent in to being tested by a third-party body to go through these tests, a variety of different positions and standards in order to obtain that COSC certification, while all running between the accuracy of -4 to +6 seconds a day. With just anecdotally speaking, these ones absolutely doing that job in flying colors. The finishing on the movement is quite well done. You have some micro perlaging on the bridges, different directional graining, and small hits of polishes throughout. In terms of general operation, again, 28,800 vibrations per hour, 4 hertz. It does feature hacking and hand winding, hacking stopping the second hand when you pull the crown to the farthest position, and a power reserve of 5 days, 120 hours. So now let's unpack, talk a little bit more about the Baume Mercier Riviera at 39 millimeters. So this was a watch that for some, it is of course in a very busy field of integrated sports watches. There are now many to consider out there on the market, and many that are of course going to be even more affordable than the Baume Mercier. But one thing that I wanted to establish right up front is when looking at the Riviera, it's important to remember that this was one of the first watches that were leaning into this style back in the early 1970s. And also a brand that I mentioned at the beginning of this video is one of the oldest in the industry, but perhaps doesn't get the kudos it deserves for being one of the first. But ever since the Riviera was launched again within Baume Mercier's modern collection, one of the challenges within that was just trying to find the sweet spot for size, or at least offering up everything for a consumer if they wanted to try to find something that works. And in typical fashion of an integrated style watch, depending on how those end bracelet links are going to meet the case, it can create a larger wearing experience than it might suggest with that diameter. With 39 millimeters, you're getting a watch that wears pretty true to size, if not closer to a 40 millimeter, which for the vast majority of wrists out there is going to be a wonderful size. A movement on the inside that is proprietary and class leading for its price range. Simply put, there is no other brand that has that extension of that power reserve with a 4 hertz operating beat frequency while getting a COSC certification. And while there's no short list of competition both above and below the Baume Mercier Riviera when it comes to this integrated style, it has carved out this nice little niche where if you have this amount of money to spend, say a few $1,000s at your name, you're looking for a watch of this style, you will typically have to spend a lot more to get into this style and design. Usually you'll see that next segment become available almost double the price of this. And then of course you have almost the unobtainable segment that have just gone to the moon in terms of their availability and price. So for those that just want a no-nonsense, integrated style sports watch with some appeal when it comes to classic refinement while having some history to go along with it and a movement that is class leading, that's where the Baume Mercier Riviera comes into play. All right, guys, well, thank you again so much for watching. If you enjoyed the video, please give it a thumbs up, subscribe, and hit the bell icon. That really does help out the content and the channel. Also, in addition to that, if you are in the market for this watch, it is available on TeddyBaldassarre.com. TeddyBaldassarre.com is an authorized dealer of over 30 brands, quick and fast fulfillment, dedicated customer support, and a full factory warranty for all the products that we offer. How we're also able to fund all of our video production and all of our content covering watches across the industry is through selling watches. So if you are in the market for a watch, we'd love to have your business because it allows us to keep doing what we're doing, and we love what we do. But guys, thank you again so much for watching. Be well, and I will see you all very soon.